Thank you, Donna. We've assigned some time to be answering some questions from you folks. Those that were written down on the 3x5 card and deposited in the teapot over there. We've selected these at random because of time constraints. I'm going to ask some of the candidates one at a time. We're going to again start with Donna. Question number one is, I have 2 minutes, by the way, Donna. What is the most significant problem facing the county that can be solved?
Well, it's actually a city problem that affects the county, and it can be easily solved. We have toxic industrial waste put in our drinking water. The city spends almost $30,000 a year. 99% of that goes down the drain, washing clothes, doing dishes, watering the lawn. So about $300. But the most important thing is it's not safe or effective. And how do I know? Because I sent over 40 letters to every supplier of fluosilicic acid, hydrofluosilicic acid, in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And I asked them, is your product safe and effective? And I didn't do it once, I did it twice. And I sent it out certified mail, and I sent a proof of service. And not one of them responded. So, one thing we can do that affects you, who are on water, who are drinking this toxic industrial waste, is to support the initiative, to get it on the ballot, and to vote this poison out. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Jump over to you now, Roger. I'm going to ask the same question of you. You have 2 minutes in which to answer it. What is the most significant problem facing the county that can be solved?
One word: jobs. Private sector jobs. That's what's going to save this county. We don't have, what is the number? 40% are people who work for the government. Another 15% work for the hospital industry, which is medical care, which is subsidized by the government. Almost half of our population is government jobs. We need more private sector. Now, don't misunderstand. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We need to supplant that and bring in jobs, private sector jobs, and a lot of our woes will simply go away. So I'm going to make it brief, I'm going to make it curt, and that is the word private sector jobs. You can put that under my name. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Leslie, what is the most significant problem facing the county that can be solved?
Well, I believe that we have covered a lot tonight. I feel like I've covered a lot of that in my presentation. The things that we are working on, budgetary, is a real problem for a while. I'm hoping our economy can improve enough to bring that back up, our tax rolls to come back up, so we can keep what government we have already. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Our next question is, we now have to truck trash to Oregon. With the transfer station, trucks and recycling, adding costs to that, how do we reduce the costs? Solid waste. That's done.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was chuckling because I just came from a solid waste board meeting on a super committee. And this is my 3rd or 4th time to ask them, let's consider reducing salaries. And let's consider reducing benefits. And let's consider putting out to bid the auditor and the legal consultation. I don't feel like I'm making any headway, because if you reduce those expenses, the salary portion with benefits is $500,000 on a $3 million endeavor. All right? So if you reduce those expenses, then the rates will come down. Now there's another thing that we talked about today, and that is privatization. There are other communities that do privatization and it works fine. Maybe not for ours, but if we don't explore it, we're never going to know. So let's explore those things. Let's not be afraid to start exploring those things. And then ultimately, we can do waste to energy and build a plant to burn the heck out of this stuff. That's something else to explore. So we need to keep our options open, but most importantly, I want to see those rates go down. I don't want to see any rate hikes, anything anymore, not now, not until we come out of the recession. Thank you.
Roger, we now have to truck trash to Oregon. The transfer station, trucks and recycling adding costs. How do we reduce those costs?
Well, there's a little thing called free market competition. It works. Let's let out bids. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a big fan of the Del Norte Solid Waste Authority. I think it's more government, layer upon layer of government. It adds to my trash bill, so I'm not in support of that. But we've got 18 months, and then let's open up bids to those people who want to take care of our trash in Del Norte County. And that's how you're going to lower costs. Make them compete for one another, make it an incentive. It's the American way.
Leslie, what is your answer to the question? We now have to truck trash to Oregon. With the transfer station, trucks and recycling adding costs, how do we reduce those costs?
I just came from the same meeting. All of the board of supervisors and all the city council members are now on the Del Norte Solid Waste Management Authority board. And that is exactly where we're headed. The director has been instructed to bring back ideas, information, rules, regulations, to see if it's even feasible to privatize the garbage service, excuse me, not the garbage service, but to eliminate the solid waste management board. I personally don't know how that would lower the rates or get rid of any salaries, because no matter who takes it over, runs it, whatever, they're gonna have to be paid. So someone's gonna have to come up with a very, very viable solution to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Just wanted to point out that we have additional Board of Supervisor members here as well as City Council member, and I think we owe them a round of applause for being here. Thank you for coming. The next question